This training is going to show you guys how to master getting new aligned clients and achieving more consistent sales while outmaneuvering your competitors. I've been putting this together for 3 months, so I'm really, really excited. I haven't shared much of this outside of any of my coaching containers, but this is where I help agencies and service-based businesses like you to transform your marketing into something powerful that helps you to create more clients with less trial and error. So I'm going to be talking about aligned clients today in this masterclass. It's a key differentiator, but we'll get into that later. Just something for you to take a note of. Right now, there are a ton of business owners who are relying on referrals and word of mouth for their new business. In fact, in a survey of 7,500 small business owners, 85% of them said they rely on word of mouth and referrals. And it's a little bit like putting your eggs all in one basket. You might be one of those business owners, and that's okay. That might be one of the reasons why you're here. Now, you can grow a business like that, but we tend to see businesses reach a certain level and then they kind of get stuck on a plateau. So you're working harder than ever, but you're stuck. And maybe you've fallen into the trap of shiny object syndrome. It's very easily done. You see people around you launching, bragging about 6-figure months, putting pictures up of their Lamborghinis and taking selfies in private jets. And you might be wondering what the heck you're doing wrong, or what you're not doing, or what do they know that you don't know. Now, I may be exaggerating to prove a point, but if any of that sounds familiar or it does strike a chord, this masterclass will be extremely powerful, because you may be caught up in what I call the reactive business operator mode. In this mode, you're worried about where your next clients are coming from. Maybe you're stressed about consistency of sales, and you're also overwhelmed by all the strategies, tactics, and really bad advice out there. And you're riding the feast and famine roller coaster. Well, in reactive business operator mode, there's no consistency, predictability, or freedom in your business. So if that does sound familiar, then you're definitely in the right place today. So I want you to put your phones away, close all those browser tabs, and let's go on a journey in the next 90 minutes. What I'm going to promise to you is that this is going to be jam-packed full of value. I've been working on this for 3 months, and I am level 9,000 excited to share this with you and witness your breakthroughs. So this masterclass is going to unlock new potential for you. And my goal for you is to walk away with new ideas, a new way to look at and tackle marketing, and clear action points. The universe rewards action, so please be prepared to have things to do after this masterclass. My one-to-one clients know that whenever there's a call, there's homework to do. But you will have the know-how to move from reactive business owner to one who knows what works for your business. You can hop off that roller coaster, and we can proactively 10x what's working, so you can go further to creating aligned clients like clockwork. But before we begin, I want to tell you very quickly why I am here. So this is a brief history lesson. After my dabble at being Ally McBeal, I did a postgraduate degree, and I went and worked for one of the UK's biggest ad agencies. It was back in the day when listening to a podcast meant that you were popping a CD in the CD player. And after a while, I got the entrepreneurial itch, and I founded my own agency back in 2008. Recession, it was fun times. But don't worry, I am not going to give you a play-by-play of the last decade. But I want to tell you that I grew that business very quickly to 6 figures in profit. And then reality gave me a checkup from the neck up, and we hit the floor. It was after working myself to near blindness. I actually woke up one day and had lost my eyesight from inflammation due to stress. And that was my catalyst. That was when I decided to fanatically educate myself about business. So since 2016, I've done an MBA. I've been coached by the Rich Dad from the Rich Dad Poor Dad books, Tony Robbins, and now I'm also a coach for Ted Miller III and Charles Godet. These legends are personal mentors to me, and their executive programs run from $36,000 a month But long story short, I now provide coaching to clients around the world on behalf of Forbes, Rolling Stones. I'm on the board for Fosco and Woman Entrepreneur. I can tell you, I'm technically British, so I'm definitely not telling you this stuff to brag, but I am on a mission to help business owners thrive. In fact, I want to help 10,000 business owners in the next 10 years to break that feast and famine cycle that I know all too well. And I'm truly obsessed with helping agencies and service businesses to quit entrepreneurial poverty. One of my clients called me their chauffeur to success, which is probably the best thing I've ever heard. And I'm trying really hard to not trademark that. And I'll tell you more about my clients later on, but I live to serve. There is a little bit more to me than business. I have a fairly extreme personality. I don't need to see the whole racetrack or the whole ski slope to just do it. But as a coach, my superpower is getting clients into action. And one of my clients called me a slave driver, but I think they doubled their business. So there you go. I really do believe that movement creates momentum, and you just need to take one step and another step and another step. Winning happens an inch at a time. It's not always in big quantum leaps, which also has its pitfalls. But I really do push the boundaries in everything I do. And if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to push you today as well. So the results and everything you want are just on the other side of your comfort zone. You've let me tell you about me, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know some of you guys. There is a Facebook group for this event, so please join the Facebook group. If you've got questions, if you've got things that kind of come up, then you pop in the Facebook group and we'll all be in there to support each other. And at the end of this, I will also invite you to do a personalized assessment. But for now, here are my contact details. And I want to say, knowledge is only potential power. So to make this useful and relevant for you today, I want you to take notes. I want you to write down questions. Stop me, ask questions, and anytime you want, DM me on social media, email me, pop a question in the Facebook group. I'm here to serve you. And for those of you who took the Rev Up bundle, I don't know if anyone here took the Rev Up bundle, you'll also have access to me in office hours. So there are no silly questions, and all I ask is for you to play full out. And if you can commit to that, then I have a promise for you in return. In this masterclass, I'm not holding back. I am going to be sharing the strategies, tools, and techniques that I've used to create £11 million worth of sales in the last 2 years. And I want you to walk away today with a growth plan and the exact next steps to take in your business. And if you do not get any value by the end of our time together, I will personally buy you a coffee or drink of your choice, and I will give you a free coaching session so we can work on whatever obstacle is in your way or whatever is holding you back. And I want you to hold me to those standards. So the next 85 odd minutes is going to feel like I've put you in front of a fire hydrant and turned on the tap or the faucet for my Americans. So let us just take a moment before we dive in. I really respect your time, and I want to honor you, your business, and thank you for being here. So together, let's just set an intention for this time. So you can stand up, you can stay seated, just be with me in this moment for a minute. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable, and just take a deep breath. And I want you to set your intention for this masterclass. What do you want to get out of it? What answers are you looking for? What's your goal? And if we spoke again in 18 months' time, what do you want to have accomplished from this day forward until then? We have a lot to cover, and this is not going to be like any other masterclass or webinar that promises you a silver bullet and you're sitting there with your pen and paper waiting for some big reveal. This is going to be full of real substance and actionable takeaways for you to grow your business. So you're going to walk away today with a growth plan to grow your business by at least 72%. If you don't have your workbook, there will be a link to download that, but at least have some pen and paper and your favorite writing implement. I'm still resisting the urge to get one of those remarkable tablets. But yes, if you've got something to write with, you guys are ready to rock and roll. Let's do this. There is one thing I can tell you for certain. You're not going to get wealthy by paying the bills. Living month to month on that roller coaster, this is not how we build wealth in your business. Pareto's principle, I'm sure everyone's heard of Pareto's principle. The law states that 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your clients, or maybe 80% of your profit comes from 20% of your services. So just take that question in for a second, and can you think if you've done your homework, actually, you will have these figures, but does 80% of your revenue come from 20% of your clients? It's really important to get to grips with these numbers. I have a client at the moment who they work in the healthcare sector, and more than 80% of their work comes from 2 clients right now. And those 2 clients are both renewing their contracts. So if you guys do have a huge amount of your revenue reliant on any small group of clients, it's definitely something to look at. So if you can write down your first action point to go and analyze your clients. And I will bet you a coffee that this 80-20 rule somewhere applies in your business. So how do you acquire clients at the moment? Is it by word of mouth? Do you have a strategy? Do you have multiple strategies to acquire your clients? How many strategies do you have in play right now? And are you tracking those? There's space to write this down in your workbook. And just while you think on that for a moment, I just want to talk about aligned clients. So when I talk about aligned clients, I'm talking about the ones who need what you have. They can afford a lot of what you have to offer. Later on, I'll talk about your best buyers versus aligned clients. Your best buyers are those big whales. If you landed 2 or 3 or 4 of those, they would transform your business, transform your life potentially. So for the purpose of this masterclass, I'm talking about aligned clients or all clients. Now, many people can't define what an aligned client is, and that's okay. But if you want to get more of them, we need to know exactly who they are. So I want you to look at your client list, which is always a great place to start. And I want you to look at your top clients, and I want you to characterize them. The size of their company, how many employees do they have? What do they purchase? Do they give you referrals? What's their average lifetime value? And there's lots and lots of these kinds of things that you need to go and have a look at. So here's your action point. To pull a list of your clients, maybe over the last 12 months, and I want you to take a look at the top 20% of your best buyers, but then also look at your aligned clients. And give them a score out of 10. And ask yourself, what would it take for those clients to be a 10? And I really want you to think long and hard about that and look at your perfectly aligned client avatar. This perfectly aligned client avatar, which there will be a link to in the Facebook group, if you need a template for doing this exercise and something to help you, it's going to be super important to shaping your growth strategy. The avatar is the cornerstone to all of your marketing, and I'll refer to it for the rest of this masterclass. And in an ideal world, those are the clients that we want to clone 10 times, 20 times, 30 times over. So that template will be there in the Facebook group. There are only 3 ways to grow a business. And I learned this sitting in a conference room with Tony Robbins and Jay Abraham. And it's shockingly simple, but my clients will tell you that I do like to keep things simple. So when you distill it down to the absolute basics, there are only 3 ways you can grow a business. 98% of business owners focus on one of them, the most difficult and most expensive way to grow a business, obviously. The first way to grow your business is increasing the number of clients. This is the hardest, most expensive, and time-consuming strategy to grow your business. I read a report recently, and it said that out of the top 8 challenges that business owners face in marketing, 47% said that traffic and generating leads is the number 1 problem. I know that probably resonates because it's why you guys are here at a webinar called Rev Up Your Revenue. So I have a question for you though, to dig a little bit deeper. If I asked you, what is the cost of acquiring a new client? What would your answer be? So I'm just going to do some very quick math. Let's say you have 1,000 clients and each one of them spends $250 once a year. That's $250,000 a year in annual revenue. I'm using these numbers to keep it simple for me, but this is an eye-opening and game-changing thing to have a look at. Again, not my words, clients' words. So if you have 1,000 clients, they each spend $250 and they spend once a year $250,000 in annual revenue. So now let's say you want to double your revenue to $500,000. How long would it take to find 1,000 new clients, get them to know, love, and trust you, take them through the whole process to convert them? And how much would it cost to acquire 1,000 clients? Now, if you don't know what your exact cost of client acquisition is, I read a benchmark survey, and it said that the cost for a consultancy business or a B2B business, it's $901 to acquire a new client. So if you want 1,000 of them, it's $901,000. For a legal services firm, it's about $1,245. For a financial services firm, it's about $1,202. And these were figures from 2022. I could go on, there were a whole bunch of them, but the point is you need to know what the cost is of client acquisition. So that will be an action point for you to work this out. And I will be sharing a KPI dashboard template for you in the Facebook group. So measuring numbers, you'll hear me talk about this a couple of times today. It's really important to know your numbers. Okay. So whilst this masterclass is focused on creating new aligned clients, I do want you to have a very well-rounded growth plan. So I am going to cover very quickly the next 2 ways of growing your business. The next one is increasing your average transaction value. So if you have a wonderful sales process, you're creating irresistible offers with bumps, upsells, downsells, whatever you want to call them, that add value to your clients and help you to increase the average transaction value. This, working on all 3 of these, is your secret weapon to exponential growth. I have an example to share with you. So I don't have the figures written down, but this was from one of my mentors, and he had a home building business. And home building, notoriously quite low margins, quite difficult to maintain profitability. But what he started doing when he was selling these new homes is he created joint ventures with people that sold TVs and home theaters and sofas and settees. And he created a scenario where he would upsell the sofas and the TVs, and then he would share the revenue with those suppliers. So he took a fairly low margin business and made it highly profitable, every opportunity increasing the average transaction value. That was just one example, and hopefully we'll get to cover a few more as we go through. Number 3 is increasing your frequency of purchase. Now, I understand that there are some businesses where you are truly a one-time purchase. So instead of focusing on the frequency of purchase, you could focus on referrals, for example. Can't think of a good example of a one-time purchase business, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you're a divorce attorney. Let's hope you don't have too much repeat business. So if you have that kind of business, focus on referrals instead. So how often and how do you encourage repeat purchases from your existing clients? It's really important to put some thinking time here and see if you can find other ways of adding value. My husband and I recently went to Spain for 3 months over the winter just to get away and have some winter sun. And I'm pretty sure Amazon must have thought, is she dead? Like, she hasn't spent anything. And the reason we all buy from Amazon is because they make it so easy to continue doing business with them. So You might not like their business model, but I want you to think about how you can, use that principle of making it so easy to continue doing business with you that clients will just keep coming back and keep buying from you. So there's some thinking time to schedule and work on that. So if we go back to the 3 ways and we do this, do these numbers. By the way, if you did do the training video, the little extra bonus training videos that I sent you, you'll have these numbers if you did your homework, but you can always go back to them. So 1,000 clients, £250, they buy from us once, it's 250,000 in revenue. Now remember, we want to double our revenue. So if we have 25% more clients, that would be 1,250 clients, spending 25% more, spending 25% more frequently. I know 1.25 is a funny number, but it works out if you have a smaller bump or something like that. Now, that's 488,000 if my maths does not fail me. But does it feel a whole lot easier to try and find 250 new clients than it does to try and find 1,000 new clients? So by just working on all 3 of these and having a really well-rounded growth plan, we can make things a little bit easier for ourselves. We don't always have to take the difficult road. So I want you to grab your notebook, and what I want you to do is I want you to work out your 20-20-20 plan. So right now in your businesses, write these numbers down. If you know how many clients you have, how much the average transaction value is, how often they purchase, write these numbers down. Let's do this together. Do you think it's feasible that you can increase the number of clients you have by 20%? Do you think it's feasible to increase the order value by 20%? And do you think it's possible to increase the frequency they buy by 20%? So I worked with a web agency on this exact exercise not that long ago. And after doing this exercise, we came up with one offer to increase frequency of purchase. It took 1 hour to put the offer together. It took 1 hour to put an email together. And so that's 2 hours of effort, and he made £20,000. So it's right there. You've got everything in your business, and you can absolutely do this. Your worksheet talks about a 20-20-20 plan. Your worksheet talks about growing your clients by 20%, average value by 20%, and so on. But I want you to play with these numbers. It doesn't have to be 20-20-20. Maybe 20-10-5 feels good, or maybe 30-20-10 feels good. So here's your action points. I want you to get these numbers for your business, and I want you to create your growth plan. And I want you to play with these numbers and see what works well for you. But if you do create a 20-20-20 plan, that's a 72% growth in your business. Once you've done that, I want you to share your growth plan with me. I would love you to share that with me in the office hours. For those of you who are coming to the office hours, I want you to share it with me on email, whatever it is, and let's really crystallize that growth plan. Now, inside my Clients Like Clockwork program, I work on each one of these pillars subtly, but we are going to be talking about creating new clients for today. But now that you're armed with some numbers, you've got a target, we're going to start mapping out the best way for you to get there. So I am going to be focusing on getting new clients for the rest of our time together. Now, I want you to break through the revenue plateau that you're on. I want you to break through the feast and famine, or the fear of not knowing where your next client is coming from. And that is going to require the mastery of this triangle that I call my success triangle. And together, these 5 elements are a powerful game changer. And when you have a strategy to master all of them, you're setting yourself up for success. So I'm going to quickly run through each one, and then we're going to focus on marketing. So the first one, numbers. You need to know your numbers. You need to know your key performance indicators, your key metrics, your OKRs, whatever you call them in your business. I call them KPIs. If you think about your business as a flywheel for a moment, it takes energy to get it spinning. But then you can use leverage and you can pull the right levers so that it becomes easier and easier. But to keep up the momentum and grow your business, you need to track the numbers. You need to know what to improve. And if you have a KPI dashboard and you know the numbers, you'll know if you're on track to achieve your goals or if we need to do a course correction. In your workbook, I've suggested 5 KPIs that you must start tracking immediately. If you don't have a KPI dashboard, you don't have something like this in your business, I've given you the 5 that you should start with. And in the Facebook group, there will be a template for a dashboard that I will share with you. So I will put that in there for you to get started. I can't explain the benefits of having this KPI dashboard. If I was really cool, I might put Sarah on the spot, because Sarah's just worked really hard to implement the KPI dashboard in their business. And it's giving us such a steer of what we need to focus on. Where do we need to dig? What's working so we can do more of that? And it's been a really powerful exercise and a powerful tool. So please don't skip over this, because you can't manage what you don't measure. Okay, so the next one is proof. So this is your proven process. This is proof around creating success for your aligned clients and sharing it in a way that your audience can relate to it and know that it's relevant to them and that you can help them. There are 2 separate elements to proof. You have your proven process. And I always say, why tell someone something when you can show them? And then you also have proof around case studies and testimonials. So these are really important aspects to work on. Then sales, my favorite topic. I understand that the word sales can make people feel a tad uncomfortable, especially for my creative entrepreneurs out there. When I say sales, they hear selling your soul. But the pressure that this word creates for so many business owners I speak to, it maybe even creates a little bit of anxiety. And in fact, it's one of the reasons why I now love to serve agency owners to crack the growth code and pave their path to permanent profits, because I know the exhaustion and the emotions of how draining it is to be on that boom and bust roller coaster. So we have to look at the sales. We have to know what your sales goals are. We have to map them so that we know exactly how we're going to get there. We need a sales playbook so that you know and your team knows the repeatable steps that get results. I just, could you weather 2 months of bad sales, 3 months of bad sales? So we need to make sure that we've got a constant pipeline, that we're constantly looking forward to the future. And having a sales process is critically important. I could actually do a whole masterclass just on sales, on how to create a sales playbook. And I can't explain how important it is. The number of business owners I speak to who think that hiring a salesperson will solve their problems, or if they hire a closer and he or she doesn't get the same results as you, it's all in the systems and processes. I watched a movie on the weekend, which I hadn't watched before, so don't judge me, but it was called Silver Linings Playbook. And the dad, Robert De Niro, was an Eagles fan. And every time the game was on and he'd have bets going on the game, he had all these rituals, and he called it juju, his juju rituals. So if you're relying on juju for your sales, that's not the way. We need a playbook, because the money is not in the thing that you do. The money is in the selling of the thing that you do. And as the business owner, it is your number one responsibility to be the expert at the marketing and selling of your things. We need to have that nailed down in a playbook before you can start hiring sales teams, before you can start hiring closers and expanding your sales. I get a little bit excited about that topic. The other one is irresistible offers, my second favorite thing to talk about after sales. A compelling offer gets you through the door by making your clients feel like they're getting something special. And if you get this right, the offer can transform your business, not to mention your life. But without an irresistible offer, you're racing to the bottom and you're competing with everyone on price. I spend a whole week on this, on creating offers in my Clients Like Clockwork program, because it is so important to hone in your skills in creating offers. And I'm not talking about discounts. I'm not talking about, creating discounts to try and encourage people to buy. In fact, most of my clients will tell you that I encourage raising your prices. I think Chris will attest to that. I'm talking about taking your services and wrapping them up in so much value that your clients say yes, 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 and you cannot be compared to your competitors. It's in the positioning, it's in the alignment, and it's in all sorts of things that go into creating irresistible offers. For those of you who've got the Rev Up Your Revenue bump, the pricing mastery course that I have, I talk about how we take a web agency, for an example, and make sure that they cannot be compared to competitors by creating winning offers, making the intangible tangible, and making your offers so clear and compelling that your clients cannot resist you. So for now and the rest of the masterclass, I am going to assume that all of you have a proven process and that you all have proven offers, because then we're going to talk about marketing. Now, marketing, the role of marketing is to create and keep clients. That's it. The word advertising comes from the Latin word advertere. It means to turn the mind. Now, I teach a lot about writing your brand bio, smoking gun headlines, and I put a lot of emphasis into creating a proposition that speaks to your aligned clients and cuts to the chase, meets your clients where they are, because marketing is about them. It has to be about them, their problems, their pains. It is not about you. It is not about your pitch. And I'm sure that all of you have an amazing service, but in the nicest possible way. No one cares. What they do care about is what's in it for them. And this is where it gets interesting. It's not always at the same time that you are in their space and place. So that sounds like Mission Impossible, trying to market to people at the exact same moment that they're looking for a web designer, a casting agency, a business coach. It's kind of like winning the lottery. That's why I want to talk to you about the 3% rule. So this next slide that I'm going to show you is going to transform your marketing, and it's going to transform the results that you get if you can get to grips with this larger market formula. The 3% rule. If you're not familiar with this, I can't take any credit for it. It comes from this book, which is The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. If you don't have a copy of it, well, I'm sorry, you can't get one. They're actually out of print now, and I'm so I've found out today that I will be working with Amanda Holmes, Chet Holmes, his daughter, on the new book that's coming out. So I'm going to be working on the new book with her, and I'm so unbelievably excited. Someone gave me this book in 2016, and it changed my business, and it changed my life. So I'm really so happy that I got that news today, and you guys are the first to know, but it's a big secret. But okay, back to the triangle. So this triangle, the rule states that the 3% of people at the top of the triangle are the ones who are actually in the market for what you have, or they're actually, looking to buy a new website, a new house, a new electric motor for their hobby toys. So at any point in time, if I filled a stadium full of your ideal clients, only 3% of them are actually ready to buy. Now, these are the people that you and all of your competitors are marketing to right now. So you're playing the lottery. There are the people who are looking right now for a website, an HR specialist, a casting agency, and they're actually looking for a solution. So they're going to be looking for quotes. They're going to be searching on Google. But because you and all of your competitors are vying for the attention of that 3%, that's what I call the bloody red ocean. But what about the rest of the triangle? 7% are possibly in hunting mode. If the right irresistible offer came along, they could be persuaded. 30% of people are not thinking about it. 30% don't think they're interested, and 30% don't even know they're interested. This little triangle is going to change everything for you. You see, if you and all of your competitors are all so busy selling your services and competing for that top 3%, well, you're just swimming with sharks, really. So let's get out of the water and let's go find somewhere else to swim. So what I'm about to show you, now please keep that triangle in mind as I go through this. So there should be a copy of it on your worksheet. I'm going to show you how to speak to the whole triangle. I'm going to show you how to cut through the noise and speak to the larger market, because when we flip that triangle upside down, this is your marketing funnel. Now, I'm going to give you a framework. I am a seriously framework-driven coach. I like to use frameworks that get results. So I've created this little framework for you, and this is going to show you how to speak to the whole triangle. And it's going to give you a new perspective. So this is marketing. You see, if you can articulate your prospect's pain better than they can, they believe that you have the solution. And this is really important. This is kind of like the secret and the core to all of this marketing stuff. Meeting your clients where they are and joining them in the conversation that they're having in their head. Because when you do this, and when you are not selling, but you're educating, you're speaking to the whole triangle. So rather than tell you how to do this, which would take me quite a long time, actually, I take about 3 days to teach this. I'm going to show you with an example, because I think that'll be the best way for me to get the most into the session for you. So I'm going to talk about a client who I worked with, and they're a cyber security company, and their aligned clients are mid-sized construction firms. Remember, not selling, we're educating. So EBM, I want you to etch this into your minds, education-based marketing. So here's the framework. The first thing that we have to do is what I call, it's not very nice, but it's called dog whistle copy. We call out your aligned clients so that they know we're speaking to them. And that's why your perfectly aligned client avatar that I'm going to get you to work on is so important to implementing this with success. Okay. The next thing that you need to do is you need to be familiar with the pains. You need to know what the market pains are. Once we've identified the market pain, their biggest pain point, we then have to speak and capture the whole triangle. So by doing this, we capture the attention of the whole triangle. We start with the market pain, and then we back it up. I'll talk about how we back that up. So I'm talking about a cybersecurity firm trying to speak to construction companies. Okay, so if they're up to date with the news, or their clients have actually started asking them for their cybersecurity credentials, which is happening at the moment, they might be thinking, yeah, but that won't happen to me. Or, yeah, I don't need to do that right now, which is the reality of it. So what we have to do is we have to make the pain tangible, and we have to back it up by providing market data. And again, we're still educating at this point. Now, we know from doing some research that the average cybersecurity attack costs £174,000. We then get some market data to back that up. Now, Google is your friend here, and there are also a whole host of tools which I can go into in the office hours with you. But I did some Googling, and we found that according to Hiscox, their construction clients are increasing their cybersecurity spend actually very heavily, which shows us that there's a trend in the market. So we capture attention with the pain, we back it up with data, and then we make it relevant to the business owner who's reading it. When you've done that with education, you can then propose a solution, which might be a free offer, it might be a meeting, a personalized assessment, it might be a lead magnet. You offer them a solution, and then ultimately this leads to your irresistible offer. So, pain. Remember, we're not selling, we're educating. We've got our dog whistle copy that calls out the aligned clients, which in this case is construction firms. And this is what the messaging at the top of the funnel. So remember, we've got your funnel and we're at the top of the funnel. We're trying to get as many construction firms into the funnel as possible. So we're trying to capture the attention of that whole triangle. So a typical cybersecurity attack costs a mid-sized construction firm $174,000 on average. According to Hiscox, their construction clients are increasing their cybersecurity spend by 188%. Okay, so far at the top of the funnel, do you guys agree that that would capture the whole triangle? Then what we do is we make it relevant. So you've called out the aligned client, you've highlighted the pain, we've backed it up with some data, because remember, that's the best way to position yourself as the expert. Remember, we're educating. When we're educating, we're building rapport. And when you know the pain better than your client, it positions you that they automatically think you have the answer. So now it's time to add context or making it relevant. So I like to use good news and bad news scenarios to start yourself off and get something down on paper. But then you can always get it written out and then you can always polish it up. And if you've ever seen any of my copy and thought, that's really good, then my copywriter, Nige, probably did it. Nige is absolutely amazing at copywriting, and he knows my framework. He knows how I like things to be done. So here it is. The bad news is that cyber attacks cost more than money, and they're only increasing in frequency. So we've made this business owner aware that it's increasing in frequency. So instead of thinking, oh, that won't happen to me, we're telling them there's some bad news here. Don't think it won't happen to you. But the good news is that in just 1 hour, we can assess your risk and identify swift actions to safeguard your business for a fraction of the potential monetary loss, time loss, and loss to your reputation. If somebody positioned it that way, do you think that is a business that you think, yeah, I'll talk to them. I think that's worth an hour of my time. This copy is obviously very short and it doesn't give you the whole picture. But what I want to do is I want to give you guys the framework so that you can do this education marketing in your business. Now, we've highlighted the pain. We've used market data to create a captivating headline to start the conversation with construction firms, or the whole triangle, as I've been talking about. And if you're speaking to the whole triangle, is that not a whole lot easier than speaking to the 3% of construction firms who've probably just been burned and that's why they're looking for a cybersecurity attack? The horse is already bolted. This is the tip of the iceberg. But I hope that you can see how to create a content marketing machine that attracts your aligned clients. When they consume your content, they will convert. You are creating clients. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go and have a look at your LinkedIn bio, your website header. I want you to go and look at your social media profiles, your marketing. And I want you to ask yourself, is this about me? Or is this about my aligned client? Please schedule time to do this. And if you think that you're just going to skip over it, let me give you 2 quick examples of why you mustn't. I have one client who updated her brand bio and instantly had somebody contact her and say, hey, what's this about? I had another client who used this exact framework to create an article that she then shared across LinkedIn. And she won 2 clients off the back of it. And in fact, I think had 7 bookings for sales calls just from one article that reframes everything. So I want you to write down your action point to audit your LinkedIn profile, your social bios, the header of your website, and ask yourself if it speaks to your aligned clients, or if you're just talking to the 3% at the top of the triangle. Before I get into the 7 musts of marketing, I just want to share with you what must be the long-term focus of any marketing strategy or initiative. The long-term focus for your marketing is to take someone on a journey of, I've never heard of this person, to who is this person I keep hearing of, to, hey, this is familiar, take my money. That is the goal. You want people to know, love, and trust you, and it's a 3-legged stool. So everything you design must have that thread throughout it. Now, at the beginning earlier, I mentioned about best buyers and aligned clients. To me, best buyers will always have a longer term strategy. They will always have a higher cost of client acquisition, and they will take much longer to nurture and convert. But your aligned clients, now we can market to them and we can create a marketing mix, or what I call creating your path to permanent profits. Now, I want you to bear that in mind. You've got your best buyers, long-term strategy. And again, I could probably do a whole different masterclass on that, but I'm going to be talking about aligned clients for the purpose of this next section. These are the 7 musts of marketing. I'm going to whiz through these because I could talk on each one of them for days, and I'm not going to do that to you. But organic traffic. It is my philosophy that you should test messages, test offers, and validate anything before spending money on ads. And sure, ad spend can expedite the validation process, but it's kind of like going to the casino. So I don't like to do that. I teach how to validate in my OfferFix course, actually, and it's incredible to see that sometimes when we put together an MVP to validate, the results can be amazing. So that when you take something then to market, you know it's going to work. And organic traffic is the best way to test anything. Outbound strategies are proactive. Now, I love outbound strategies because you don't need a website, you don't need a landing page, you don't need any fancy stuff. You could literally start tomorrow on a strategy to target your aligned clients, and it's a cornerstone to things I work on with clients. Outbound is so important, and whether you use Instagram or LinkedIn or a bunch of different things, when you have the roadmap to outbound marketing, it can just transform your sales pipeline. So outbound strategies are really important. If we just sit there and wait for the 3% to come to us when they're searching for a web designer, or they're searching for, a cybersecurity firm, whatever it is, it's not proactive. And I think that creates a lot of discomfort for me, because you're just kind of, waiting for your pipeline to come to you. Email marketing. This is one of my favorite strategies. Email marketing is really important. If you're growing your email list, it's a sign of a growing business. And everything that I've just talked about is relevant when it comes to email marketing. People aren't ready to buy from you right now. And one of the best ways to take them on a journey of getting to know, love, and trust you is to have them on your email list. I have a client who has just engaged with me this year in January. He was on my email list for 9 years. So that's how long it took him before he was ready to do business with me. But you have to have email marketing as part of your strategies. And it's hugely successful. You don't own your LinkedIn profile. You don't own your Instagram profile. I see every day people getting blocked from LinkedIn and complaining about it. And, yesterday, even though I'm very ashamed to admit it, yesterday my Instagram account got hacked, so you don't own your audience on your social media profiles. So what we have to do is we have to capture them into our funnel, build your email list, so that when you've got something to launch, something to say, you're launching to your audience, to your perfectly aligned clients. Paid traffic. So you need to advertise where your aligned clients are. Hence why the avatar is so, so important. When I design ad campaigns for clients, I probably spend about 80% of my time on the avatar, and 80% of my time is spent understanding who we're advertising to, what are their pains, what are their problems, and doing that research. So please take that perfectly aligned client avatar and put some elbow grease into that. It'll be so worth it. It'll be one of the cornerstone documents of your marketing toolkit. And yes, of course, paid traffic can also really fast track you to the 3% of people who are looking for what you do right now. So it does have its benefits. Education-based marketing, this is everything that we've covered. And every time you add value, every time you educate somebody, you're making deposits in the bank so that you can take out the dividends later. So educate, add value. 80-20 rule applies. Referral strategies. So at the beginning, I mentioned that most businesses rely on referrals. Most of my clients, when they come to me, have relied on referrals or word of mouth. And that's a great thing. But if you don't have a strategy to optimize it, maximize it, and leverage it, you're going to get referrals that are sometimes the wrong fit. So what we need to do is make sure that we have a strategy in place. And I am the self-titled referral queen. So if you do need help with your referral strategy, it's something that I do love to work on. And then public relations. Now, I don't mean public relations only in the traditional sense, but I mean it in terms of expanding your reach, expanding blogs, guest blogs, podcasts, going on other people's podcasts, going on video interviews, summits. I, for example, provide content to Forbes, and it expands my reach. And recently I was on the Beyond Seven Figures podcast, which was pretty cool. And then I also did a thing with my copywriter recently where I let him do a content takeover of my email list, my LinkedIn profile, and my blog. And he talked about copy and how important it is for sales. It was the most engaged, and it had the highest impressions of any post I've done in a year. So when you find ways to, promote yourself to other people's audiences, that's what I'm talking about with PR strategies. Okay. So your action point. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look at each one of these, and I'd like you to look at the marketing activity that you have in your business and do a momentum audit. It's much easier to start from a place of momentum than it is to have a shiny new strategy. You get one working, you get it, optimized, leverage, and then you add another strategy and then another one. And you try and do that every quarter. And by the end of the year, you're going to have multiple sources of new leads for your business. But start where you have momentum first. It's the reason why most startups fail. It's because they're starting from standing still. The momentum worksheet template will be in the Facebook group. So I will put that in the Facebook group for you so that you can sit and do your momentum worksheet. It's so worth it. I have a client who did this momentum audit. She was having a look at all the ways that she had business, and it was like, oh wow, LinkedIn used to be a great source of business. And then I said, awesome, why aren't we doing that anymore? Oh, I don't know. Do you think we should do that again? Yes, we should. So these things don't work in silos. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly demonstrate how they all fit together so that you can create what I call your path to permanent profits. So this example that I'm going to show you in a second involves outbound marketing, inbound, organic, paid, education-based marketing, email marketing, all combined together to form a powerful strategy. And it's where those strategies and the tactics come together and the path to permanent profits I should maybe call it the steps to permanent profits, because this drawing looks more like steps. But I wish I had more time to talk about driving traffic, your stadium pitch, designing profit-driven lead magnets. But instead, I'm going to give you a very quick overview of how, in a real life example, you can then get ideas for your business. So in this path to profit that I'm going to show you, it generates £169,000 per quarter of revenue on automation for one of my clients. This is a real case study, and the results are from 2021. Now, we were acquiring new clients month on month, even during the new year and even during the pandemic. And I want to caveat that this was a brand new offer. We didn't have a website, we didn't have an audience, and we were starting from scratch. But we added easily 15 new clients a month on automation to their business. I don't know about you, but 15 new clients a month on automation sounds pretty good. So I want you to think about that in the context of your 2020 plan. How many new clients do you need every month to achieve your revenue targets? So as I'm going through that, I just want you to think about your 2020 plan. Okay. Now, we started, first of all, with organic outbound reach on LinkedIn. This was a software as a service platform, and we were targeting interior designers. So we started off by searching for interior designers, and we created a drip series, connected with them, tested some messages, and there was a huge element of hyper-personalization at first. So in the beginning, when you're doing the organic stuff and we're testing messages, hyper-personalization is really important. It's a bit more time-consuming, but we have to validate. So we started having conversations to find out what the pain points were so that we could leverage that. Meeting the designers, interior designers, where they were, we created a lead magnet on how to price your interior design services for success. That seemed to tick the boxes. So what we did was then we created a Facebook ad to generate leads. Now, we intentionally designed the path to profit. So we had the free guide on how to price your interior design services. Then they were taken to the next step, which was a drip series of emails, some more educational-based marketing, and then we invited them to have a demonstration of the product, a free trial, and then sign them. Now, the sales velocity was about 4 to 6 weeks, but we did actually get it down to 3 weeks. Sales velocity is really important. So we had a Facebook ad, they'd sign up to the lead magnet, they got the welcome sequence to get to know, love, and trust us, they booked a demo, and then signed on to become clients. Now, since that lead magnet was working so well, we turned that into evergreen campaigns. And since then, we added webinars to the marketing strategy as well. So the first webinar that we did, again, all testing with organic, we had 116 signups, 64 people attended, 32 people stayed, we had 11 demos booked, and 3 clients were acquired. But that was just inside the week after the webinar. We've now taken those webinars and we've turned them into evergreen. So every time something works, we evergreen that and we add another pillar and another pillar. And that's how you scale your marketing. Now, after the success and the proven offer, we created a dream buyer strategy to create partnerships with brands such as sofa.com. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to provide educational-based webinars to their trade customers, who are our perfectly aligned customers. So we got to grow the audience even faster. Instead of selling one-to-one, we went selling one-to-many. Those are strategies that I love to work on with clients. Now we've implemented retargeting ads. We're bringing, I think we had over 100,000 brand impressions monthly. And the feedback from the clients when we eventually get them on the demo is, you know, I see your brand everywhere. And that's what the goal is. We want them to see you everywhere. So I want to pause for a moment and just ask you if you can see that this is kind of all fitting together. Can you maybe potentially see how some of the ideas or how working on your marketing to understand your aligned client, understand their problems, and intentionally design the path of them getting to know, love, and trust you from the top of that funnel all the way down to the bottom can work in your business. That was quite a mouthful. Okay, great. Well, it doesn't matter what type of business you are. It doesn't matter how unique your business is. If it works, this has worked for clients of mine who are a market research firm who wanted to productize syndicated research, and we pre-sold an offer. It works if you're a web design agency and you want to build on all 3 ways to grow the business to hit monthly targets. And these strategies work for my clients who are life coaches, PR agencies, and SaaS businesses too. And these are their words, by the way. So they're doing the work and getting the results. That's the key message. You have to do the work. So if you could have a conveyor belt bringing new clients to your agency or your service-based business, do you think it would feel good to step off that boom and bust roller coaster? It does feel good once you've cracked the code to getting new clients and becoming more profitable. Things are so much more fun. It creates so much spaciousness to be creative and have more freedom in your business. We should be running our businesses, not the other way around. So information is not the problem. You can take the information from this masterclass. You can read a book, Ultimate Sales Machine, if you need a recommendation. You can go and do Tony Robbins, sign up for an MBA. You can do all the things that I've done, and I've spent over $100,000 fanatically educating myself about business. Information is not the problem. The difference is taking action. So implementation and execution is what you need to rev up your revenue and go to the next level in your business. Now, many of my clients say that one of the things they love about my programs or working with me is that I make things simple and actionable. So I really want to live up to that. And let's recap on your action items. But first, if you took 30 minutes a day to work on these action points, can you imagine how much progress you can make in the next week, the next month, or the next quarter? I know you're busy, but I know that you're committed to achieving your goals. And I know that because you're still here. So let's do this. This is a recap on your actions from today's masterclass. I want you to go and analyze your client list with the questions in mind that we talked about. I want you to work on your perfectly aligned client avatar. If you don't know who you're selling to, well, I don't know how that's going to work. I want you to understand your numbers, what it costs to acquire a client. I want you to work out your 20-20-20 plan. And please share that with me when you're done so that I can keep you accountable. I want you to review your core marketing messages with the 3% rule in mind. Stop selling and start educating. And do your momentum audit, because if you're starting from a place of movement, it's much easier to go forward and find what's working and do more of that. And then I want you to start thinking about how you can design your path to profit, or how you can create that funnel to bring a conveyor belt of new clients to your business. So these action points are all in your workbook, and I want you to schedule the time to do that. I would like to invite you now to share your aha moments with me. I want you to also, after this masterclass, share the results of taking action. So please engage in the Facebook group. And if you want to test out some messages, if you want to test out that framework, put it in the Facebook group and let's support each other. So that's why I created that event, especially for this group. And for those of you who are going to come to office hours, we can continue the conversation and we can work on your growth plan there. So what's next? I want you to take your aha moments and actions from this. I want you to implement and DIY as much as you can. And I hope that you do, because movement creates momentum. And I really believe in taking action. When we're done in a few minutes, I want you to do one thing right away. That might be to schedule time to work on the business. It might be to just go and join the Facebook group, or it might be to book in to come to the office hours. But before you go, just give me 1 more minute of your time. I'm going to be sharing a link. It's an invitation to do a personalized assessment on your business. It takes 7 minutes. By filling it in, you will get my eyes on your business. You'll get my thoughts on what you should do next to achieve your revenue goals. If you fill that in, you'll be invited to come and have a strategy call with me so we can look at how we can grow your business 8 to 9 times faster, as some of my clients experience. I want to share ways with you that you can apply mastery to all of these skills that we've talked about today without having to go and do it on your own, without needing to go and do the MBA and read all the books that I've had to figure it out. But I don't want you to slip into bad habits, because we know about the law of diminishing intent. You sign up for that gym membership and you don't go, and 6 months later you're like, why am I paying for this? So I want you to take action, because you already know some of the things that you need to do to be successful, because you've all gotten to this point. But sometimes we stop doing things because, well, life and business and things happen. And it's not always the how-to, but it's the accountability. Although the how-to helps, and I hope today has been helpful. But the difference between where you are now and achieving your revenue goals is in good management of your company, focus, and effectiveness, all underpinned by accountability. So the strategies with the execution, the implementation, consistent implementation will help you to achieve unshakable success in your business. I cannot wait to see you on office hours. I cannot wait to see you in the Facebook group. And hopefully I will see you in future workshops that I plan. But if you've got any questions, you can book a clarity call with me. Just please reach out. You can go to this address, tiny.one/ask me, and you can book in a call with me if you'd like to do that. But it has really been a pleasure and a privilege to spend this precious time with you today. So thank you.